Hi, I'm Liesl Ritts, and today I am so happy to have on Ceacillea Emahmn, and she is an empath IQ trainer. She's also a distant healer. She's a mother and a grandmother, but does not look it at all, and much, much more. So welcome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Liesl. Thank you for having me here. And yeah, it's a delight. Thank you.
So empath IQ, that's interesting how you spell that. Does that have any meaning behind?
Yeah, the empathy was always a big topic for me, being for over 28 years a trainer in peaceful conflict resolution. And when I started created my own training, EmPathIQ LLC, my own company, I wanted the P with a capital, like the P from a path, and the IQ from, not the IC, but the IQ from intelligence. Because I think empathy has so much more to offer than we think. We think with empathy, oh, it's weak, oh, it's, feeling and it's watery and not really going anywhere. Well, first of all, water goes everywhere. So that's the beautiful part of it. But empathy by itself has a tremendous strength. And when we can discover that and can use it in our lives and in our communication with people, we can move through conflicts way smoother and with a strength that you had not felt would have been possible. And to raise your IQ in that, to really raise the intelligence in yourself, because it's innate in you. And I want to pull it up.
Right. I've seen like people talk about the emotional intelligence now. They have a scale for your emotional IQ, and
they have that. Oh
yeah. So you, I know, have a background in theater. Like me, I'm an actor and a singer and musician. And so starting out, were there any plays or pieces that influenced you?
Yes. Well, first of all, I was always very interested in psychology, in emotions, in expressing oneself. Even though I was a very shy girl, I was so interested in it, and it took me quite some years before I really got into theater college. But once I got in, the first week we had to read the Medea, which is a play from the Greek writer Aristotle, who lived 450 before Christ. And he wrote this play. And when I read it, I realized this is about a woman who kills herself with her two children because her husband had a new lover. And that's 2,500 years later, love to still perform that, to play all these heavy emotions, to applaud that even. And it dawned to me, I thought, man, haven't we done anything with emotions and how they can, what are they doing in our lives, and how can we use them? And I felt sick. I felt really sick that first week. It was devastating for me. It was a big hint, from universe to put me on that path once more. And but I was too happy to be in theater. I'm playful. I love laughter. I love having joy. So I stepped aside it, and I think we did not even perform it one way or another. So I was helped out there. So I didn't need to dive in for it at that time. But I forgot about it and enjoyed my education. Even though I was a rebel, I was always a rebel, even in theater. How more a rebel can you be in theater? Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I remember a similar like Greek plays and the tragedies, and Medea. That's interesting. Like I know that's she's like a goddess as well, right? And
yeah, sorceress, and she
yeah, so known to be,
yeah,
you know, like into witchcraft or sorcery. And that's so interesting, like how we get our media now is like so similar to that name.
Medea, yeah,
Yeah.
Medea. Wow. Well,
And
I haven't thought about that one yet. That is awesome.
well,
Yeah.
well, and I know a lot of your work you've done is about the subconscious and also like the subliminals out there. And that's something I do with self-sabotage, and just from my experience in acting and how these different, how the industry and media, whether it's entertainment, uses that technology.
Yeah.
And subliminally, and people think they're making their choices, but it's actually very they're made to think that way, and it's very technical how they do these things.
Yeah.
And how important, like what you watch and what you even say or have in your environment, how that affects who you are.
Right.
And I see I know you have that beautiful mandala in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about the
this is the mandala for joy. And my husband has designed that. My husband had a path that he was put on the 5 universal tattvas. They are created like thousands of years ago in India, and he ran into them, and he started working with them, and it was a journey of 18 years, and then he cracked a code on how to use them. And yeah, he made
what is those? You called it Tatma?
Tattvas. Tatwa, a tatwa. So tattvas, like for example, I have joy always with me, but I also have these always with me. I even have them in my purse. I don't know where my purse is, but I could show you. These are representations of our subconscious and of our life in general. And this represents more the water area with the half moon. This is the fire, and this is air and also space. So these 3 are, for example, to meditate on, and the sentences that you think with it: I understand you, I love you, I bless you. And I know you understand me, I know you love me, I know you bless me. So you meditate on first this one. And meditating on these mandalas is like you look for 1 to 2 minutes, stare really at it under a very good light, and then close your eyes and see the print on your after image on your mind screen, and see the reversed colors. When you manage to do that and you feel them popping up, the reversed colors, you have access to ask for any help you want. Yeah, cool, huh?
And would you do, so those phrases, do you do that? It's like a mantra. Do you do it internally or out loud? Or
even like I have them here, and when I come in, my eyes picks them up, and I know the sentences with it. And so meanwhile, I'm really I program myself with these beautiful, powerful designs, and I use them in my training when we really get to hurdles, where upsets, where we cannot get the gist of it, or we cannot digest a certain emotion, we cannot we have no insight in why we feel a certain way about something. So then mostly I pick out this one, because that covers everything. The last one, this yellow one, the water and space. And space has actually holds all the five elements, 4 elements actually. So space is the 5th element, but it holds the water, air, fire, water. So yeah.
So do you say that out loud? Do you vocalize it, or do you just internally say that?
No, I just let you stare at it, meditate on it, and then relax yourself, and then ask questions about what this upset that you had going on, what does it remind you of? What does it? It's a series of 4 questions that I ask you over and over, and because you're open, because of the mandalas open you, you can get answers way quicker. And
and you sell these mandalas, right? You have a website?
I started an Etsy website. My husband passed away last year, unfortunately.
Oh.
And he always made also personalized mandalas, but that's no longer possible, of course. And so my son and his wife helped me setting up an Etsy store where we sell the buttons, little buttons where with these mandalas. Yeah.
What's the Etsy site, the name?
The name is Magic Mandala by Emahmn. Yeah, Magic Mandala by Emahmn.
So your husband, can you tell me a little bit about him and how he started creating the mandalas?
Okay, if we go there, definitely. Well, how he started creating these was that he called himself a guru hopper. He lived in California, and he went from one guru to the other in the 60s and the 70s, and then all of a sudden he came to this guru, Ophir called, and he ran out of all his money. You know, he had given everything away already, and then Ophir said, "Oh, but you're so smart, right? I have these designs, and I need someone to combine them and to crack the code." And well, he did not say crack the code. He said to combine them. And Emahmn, he was a math teacher also his whole life, and he thought, okay, I can do that. And he asked Ophir, he said, how long would it take? Well, Ophir said, you're so smart, you will be done quickly. But Emahmn was more curious whether that would cover all the costs for the training that he wanted to do with Ophir. And Ophir said, yeah, don't worry. So, and then my husband, he was on his way home in the car, and he already got one combination of the 4 tatwas. Yeah, I did not bring them here. I have them in another room, but that would be nice to show that with them.
But those are on your site, your website?
Not the basic ones. The basic ones are the triangle, the circle, the ovoid, and the square, and the half moon. So those are the basic ones. And in combining them, they get a meaning, because we are just created of these 5 elements. And you may, or these days, more people talk about that, and frequencies are more talked about, all the shapes and the geometry. People get more and more familiar with it. And Emahmn discovered by testing and testing what certain combinations did. And then he combined them with 12 other systems, with the tarot, with the runen, with yoga poses, with all kinds. And because of that confirmed what a certain combination of tatwas would do. And then he started creating mandalas. So like this one, the joy, and really understanding that it works that way. And Ophir may not have heard the end of the story because it took Imam 18 years. 18 years. The first 2 or 3 went very fast. The first week he had them already. And so he with Ophelia, so very, very exciting, because these tatwas were never combined like that. Not that we know. I always have to say that, because things all over the world are invented at the same time, right? So I always say, as far as I know. And then finally, when he had them all, cracked them all, the last one, that was really impressive. So that's how he made them. And he wrote a lot of books, not writing, but with all the designs. And he made also coloring books, and I hope to put them soon up on Etsy, and to see if I can reprint them and see, or at least the old ones still, give them there and see what we can do with it. Yeah.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Yeah. And I think that we now are more open to that. We are more open to self-healing, to understanding that we have so much knowledge inside of us that we don't know. And these tools like the geometria and the colors, these shapes talk to us, tell us things, and we can use them.
So I know you experienced the loss of your husband, and I myself lost a very close friend, and then my parents right in succession the last couple of years. So anything about dealing with loss, and not even loved ones, but also loss of jobs right now, and friends, that people butting heads, and like that there's a lot of, seems like there's a lot of that going on right now. So what can we do to deal with that and heal?
Where to start? It's a tough time, these last 2.5 years, and it's not over yet. So we are still going through big changes, and also on personal levels. And to deal with loss, for me and Imam, we always knew life is bigger than what we see here, and it goes beyond your death. So you're not dead when you die. So and Imam was already 88 when he passed, so he was ready to go. And also he had asked the last year, he always meditated every day so long, and did all his prayers and his 5 rights. That was his thing to do. I do them now every day. And he really thought that we were, we had so many past lives. And for me, I did not really know if I believed in past lives, but what my feeling is that we are in this big soup, as I call it, and all this knowledge that is there. If it's your life, I may have the memory of it, so I don't know, was it my life, was it your life that I remember? So for me, it's even wider, right? Not only with this being that has past lives, we share these memories is what I think of. And I also I was going to say, last year he was already meditating to get what he called his new task. He always wanted to have a task from the universe to what is his next step, and he didn't get it. And he said, they just say, just enjoy, sit on the couch, just enjoy. And he couldn't, he said, I need to know it. I need my next task. And And then 6 days before he passed, he got the task. And he said he was gonna be called, and his brother was gonna come and get him. And he was gonna have a task on the other side to be taught, and then come back and help us with the transition that the humanity is going through at this time. So for me to have that message was so much joy. And I of course said, of course, the grief of not having him physically, but he's actually, I mean, we talk about him now, right? He's everywhere. He's, yeah. If I lose something, or I don't know where I put my glasses, where did I put my glasses? Boom, there they are. Boom. So yeah, it's really nice to live that way. With the connection of the people who pass over. And that is something that I really would want to share with people too. You know, if you can step into that joy that they are, because one time I was sobbing on the couch, and you know, and then I heard him saying, he said, "I'm busy." I'm busy. And then I thought, oh yeah, of course. You're busy, I'm going to be busy here too. And that is something that I also want to give the people. You are here now. You are a person who can do something here. You can help with the transition from this side. Your loved one is on the other side, is helping there. You know, we both have to do it. And if you can feel that, if you can connect with that knowledge, and even if it is a person that you think, oh, I'm glad they're gone, you know, oh, wait, I don't know. Well, what was the contribution that now you can work on yourself with that feeling that it was so, you know, was, okay, work now, because now you have the chance before you go, right? So this is an opportunity. And if you can see that as opportunities, then, you know, joy comes back in your heart. And yeah, you have your moments. I have my moments still, like being lost, standing in the garden, not knowing what to do, right? But it doesn't last long. It doesn't last long.
Yeah, and that, like, right now you touched on having people in your life that you may have conflict with, and especially now, I you know, I've experienced that with interactions with people like that at work, and especially in that type of situation where you are kind of told, a lot of people now these days, like, that they have to do something that they do not agree with, like whether it's religious or just a hard belief that they don't agree with something that their authority is telling them.
Yeah.
So how do you handle that? Are there ways that we can handle people that are trying to force us to do something we don't agree with?
Yeah, there is. And that's what my training also covers, in the sense, like, how do you stand up for yourself? And what is actually most important? And it's, first of all, it's your life. They cannot live your life. It's your life. You have to decide. And that is something we are not taught, that we are master of our own life. And also, you know, children are very young already to sit still and listen. We had the mask already way sooner, before it was a real mask. You know, we were shut up already very young in all areas of society. So we did not see it coming.
Like in school, and you know, we're taught to.
School by itself. School by itself is a system that is not a correct system. And my youngest son started his own school at the age of 8. So I was heavily involved in education as well. But in work situations, yeah, if there's a mandatory something, yeah, you have to put your own mandatory thing next to it. Well, I don't do that. You know, it's not in my belief that I do that. Well, then you can't work here. Well, then I can work there, right? What is the consequence? Or is it, would you really want to get rid of me just for me to do that? You know, help the other person seeing a little things differently, because they are also programmed from one side, like you are programmed from one side. Now, with especially empathic communication, can you first with yourself? So I work a lot with ourselves in how do we feel, who we are, what we want, you know, the being that we are in all five realms: emotional, mental, spiritual, physical, and then sensitive. You know, can we tune in to all these areas? And then what do you hear? What do you get? What is the information? You know, because I want to open that richness in you, knowing that you are in this moment the most important person for you. There's nobody standing up for you but you. So if someone other asks you something or is brutal to you, then you have to know where you put your foot in the sand. And if that has, yes, it has consequences, but with consequences, I always think, I will see where I end up. Okay, I cannot be there. I'll see, and open that up, because of the possibilities and the new invitation for you to evolve in a different area also. And if one person does that, you know, it's so much. But if more people start doing that, standing up for themselves, letting know, okay, I don't know where I'm going to eat next week. You know, I don't know where I sleep. I don't know, but I know I will sleep somewhere. And having that trust and feeling that you will, you know, they're working on the other side. That's always what I say. So you will not be left alone in that. But you have to do it here. If you don't do it, if you say, okay, do it, okay, then what can they do? What can your higher self do? Yeah.
So yeah, I'm feeling more and more like this is like the time where, you know, you hear the term the Great Awakening, and this is like where more people really have to stand up. And because how we've been in the dark for so long, how are we going to really change things? And do you feel like we are at that point where we can actually?
No, not yet, because we have not come to the area yet that we have trust that things will change in a way that we cannot foresee yet. Because mostly we are now taught, and even I am taught that in selling on my business, what is your goal? Where do you want to go to? Well, we don't know a goal at this time. We don't know, as humanity, we don't know where we're going to, you know. Can we step in that not knowing, but trust, but still trusting? And that is a power, I think, with empathy. If you have empathy for yourself, if you have done your work about what is it that I experience here, how can I word it? Because it's a translation between what you experience and how you give it words. And which words do you give it? That comes then back to you in knowledge, so to say. You make your own wisdom to knowledge, and then you feel way more equipped to let go and to open up for new options, new possibilities. And On the other hand, working on understanding that the others don't know either, but they just think they know. They think it has to go this way, it has to go that way. And maybe giving little hints there. Yeah, where do you think we're heading to? Huh? No, you can't ask that question. Yeah.
So do you see more people in your area still, let's say, asleep or awake to what's really going on, or half and half, or can you gauge that?
Yeah, half and half, definitely. And even though Oklahoma has no mandate anymore, so we should be free, still half of the population goes around masks, and they probably all have gotten their things that they needed to get. And that's tough for me to see. But I'm already happier that the kids on the playgrounds, many schools already let go of it. There are still 1 or 2 schools still doing it, but then that comes together with my whole opposition against school in general, because it's one of those things that kids just want to be friendly, kids want to fit in. And that's one of the biggest, how do you say that you can see it there, that the kids just do it.
Yeah, and even I've found that, well, we touched on how media and entertainment affects people. I feel like people really haven't grown up. They're still just doing what they're told.
Yeah.
And how a big part of that is following the group mentality or your tribe. Like, if you must follow the majority, and that's the big part of the subconscious, is that its job is to keep us safe. It may kill us, but it may, if that's what, lemmings jumping off a cliff, but it may kill them, but they're following the herd, and that's like the subconscious job is to go along with the majority and the repetitive.
Yes. And there you can see that we really are depending on each other. We are really an animal that wants to be together and is depending on the group. And if the group has a certain rule, you better be in the group, otherwise you're kicked out. And that's the subconscious who indeed guides us. However, the media, so to say, then the Medea have captured that quality of us and turn it around for their benefit. And if we can see that, and if we can take it back and create our community and our safety with a few people, like I live with my neighbors really very close. We give each other seeds and plant the gardens, and with some friends we come together, and then with friends who still use all kind of stuff and who want to keep distance of me, I go for lunch somewhere, and then all of a sudden things come off, or mine is never on. I never put anything on, but and then you feel the relaxation. And I think to give a person that chance to do it, because when are you going to take it off of your face? It's so hard now. You have done it for 2 years almost. It's so hard to take it off, right? Yeah. But if I can be there with you, you may feel comfortable and you may do it. Yeah. But
I can imagine like the kids that have been born into this and grow up and that's what they know. Like I was walking on the street the other day, and you'll see a lot of people wearing that, and there the child was maybe like still in a stroller, maybe 3 years old, and just staring at me. Like, imagined him thinking, oh, is that a friendly person because they don't have this thing covering their face? Or they must think like stranger, you know, because your family's not wearing that around them. So it's really creating like this distance with everybody, trust and fear. And
and even babies have seen even moms half a face, you know. Even babies in East European countries of moms who normally wear the covered, at home they don't. At home it's open. At home there's nothing, right? Because you have, I don't know. Man, it's still a lot of frustration there. But with my communication skills, I was, on one hand, I realized even students of mine who have done a lot of my training still sometimes don't get it. And that's okay too. And I have to realize that that is then okay too. That's, you know, that not everybody is there, or
And your distant healing, I know you did some of the AIM program, and
I'm facilitator with the AIM program. That is an energetic balancing program that works via sending frequencies to your photo, which is a stand-in for you, your holographic self. And this is around already 20 years. I work with them for over 17 years. So it was interesting too, because the first time I also thought, oh my gosh, what is this, you know? And
so it's working with your actual, you take a photograph of what, just from your
head to toe.
Headshot?
Yeah, you could give
head to toe.
Head to toe is the best information for them to recognize you, because you could even give a hair or a drop of blood, but then we don't know if it's you, you know. And the confusion, a photo, head to toe photo is the most, the best for making no mistakes, who gets what. Or who
that reminds me of, like, in college, taking anthropology, how there would be tribes like in South America or
Australia,
Africa that never liked their photograph taken. And so that makes sense, like, if that really is like your energy, if you're reading.
And yes, you can be scared for that, you know, but your higher self is in charge, because you said yes to that. And with that yes, you give your higher self the green light to take in the frequencies that you need. Like, for example, I know Stephen Lewis, the originator of the program, was friends with Wayne Dyer. And Wayne said to Stephen, he said, but my photo, you know, that's, and Stephen said, your photo's everywhere. Everywhere, even in the DMV, you know, what can they do with your photo? So yeah, so only when you command it, and that is what the tribes maybe have not known, that you are in charge, you know, of your soul. And but yes, it is a representation of you. Yeah, it's connected with you. Yeah.
So what kind of healings have you people experienced? Is it physical and emotional, and
in all areas? Yeah. And sometimes people feel even the moment when the photo is put on the trays, and the trays are vibrating plates where lights, the frequencies are shone over it and vibrate the plates. And in this vibration, the frequencies open up, and whatever you need at any time, because it's 24/7 that you're on there, you take it in, because now you may have a sore throat and you may need something, and you still retrieve everything that anybody else gets. You still get sick like anybody else, which, like, before in Holland, I was like for 2 weeks when I had a flu, in bed, sweating, lemonade, etc., but getting better. But here it's no longer than a day for me, or maybe even an hour, that I said, and then, so the frequencies run over you, and whenever you need it, you can take it in, to balance out what was out of balance.
So is that a constant thing? Is it it's always being run frequencies over your photograph?
Yeah, and the good thing is that you don't know what you're detoxing. You may feel detoxing. You may feel something. What was that about? And it's gone. Like the last went out of you, or in your stomach, or in wherever your body is weak. You may feel it leaving the last part of the frequency. But not everybody feels it that specifically. Like if you're, Stephen always says, there are sensitives who feel everything. And then there's just a few people who, I have only had like 2 or 3 people in all these years that says, oh, I didn't feel anything, right? And I said, yeah, I don't know, And so I said, how's your life going? Oh, I got divorced and got a new wife. Okay. So we don't know. We don't know in what area it works, but it's not, you will make big changes when you go on. Yeah.
So do you, I know you experienced like hearing your husband, and do you have like the sixth sense and experience different things? Like, is it hearing, or do you see things visually, or audio?
I know. For me, I know and I sense. And as a young child, my first 5 years of my life, I was often in the hospital. And when I went in surgery, I left my body. So I'm familiar with going in and out of my body, even though I don't use that these days. But because I have that memory, or how that felt, and how I hovered over, or how I sat at the side and playing with my legs, even though they're working on my legs, I had Jesus next to me, and I said, oh, and Jesus, shh, and he was very concentrated. I said, okay. So because I had that experience, and I remember even when I was 7, I thought, and I called on Jesus, and I had a black angel, and and they were my playmates and whatever. I even thought, I don't mind if I'm making this up, it helps me. I mean, later on, I thought, whoa, what a wisdom, right? It doesn't matter if that is, other people say, oh, you make it up, or that's not true, or that cannot be true. I said, it doesn't matter. I'm helped with it, and they're my friends. Not yours. Yeah. So.
Wow. So did you actually have a near-death experience? Did you actually die, or was it just out of body?
In narcosis, when you were under narcosis. So, and then, you have to go somewhere. So where do you go when you sleep? Where do you go when you were made asleep? So but I think I was aware because I fought it. I did not want them to put that, and that's another thing why I am so sensitive to that whole idea of having something over here, because I feel the nurse pressing it on me, on my little head, And I fought it. I always fought it. Yeah. So, but I think because I fought it, I wanted to stay aware. And because I wanted to stay aware, I went out, I think. But that's just, guessing. Yeah.
Are there any?
I had angels later, and I did a whole talk about my angels and so on. So, yeah.
Is there any techniques that you practice or ways that we can develop that sense of more than this physical reality?
Right. Yeah. What I hear from my students is always that they say, with the techniques that we practice, they feel so much more aware and so much more in tune. And I always say, well, it's between you and you. Find it there. Nobody else can be your teacher. You have it in you. Find it, and ask for it. And then I always say, you can command your subconscious mind. You can command it to do a task because it's a task. It's the manufacturer. But you can request your higher self. You can ask God or God's self. Ask for that. And command your subconscious, and then the conscious mind is okay, practice. So I say, so there's 97% is subconscious, then you have 3% left in which you can make changes. So you have 2% that you can really consciously work on yourself, work on your skills, and you have 1% to connect with higher power and to use that. And that's that will override, that 1% will override everything if necessary. But the 97% to keep us alive and safe is very necessary. But we were hijacked. That's what I want to say. We were hijacked, and we have to take that 97% back in working for us.
Yeah. Do you do any work with hypnosis or?
No, I don't do that. Yeah, no. I do on hands-on healing. So if someone really has a hands-off healing, not hands-on, hands-off, so remote distance, I tune in and get energy out of my hands. I was trained by Christian Mickelson in the Instant Miracle Mastery and in high frequency energy sending, and that's fabulous. When I was in the training, we had a 10-minute break, and I went outside. I told Imam, I said, I go outside just getting some air, so much information, and we just were bestowed, And I came outside, my neighbor came outside screaming, ow, 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 ow. I said, okay, sit down. And I straight away gave him energy and did what I just learned and just was bestowed. And he said, it's gone. I said, ta-da. So that was for me. I feel guided often in those situations. Like, this is a message. Yes, Ceacillea, you were on the right track. This is a path that is matching you. So I get those confirmations. If you speak about how does it work? How does it work? Yeah, I can go everywhere. Oh, yeah.
And are there things that you like to do for your health? I know you've mentioned growing your own vegetables and fruits, and
yeah, and I never done that because Imam was always the gardener. I did most taking the cloth off for the sun or the rain, and maybe watering, but Imam mostly did everything. And then when he passed away, he had prepared a lot of boxes with a lot of vegetables. And here I am in my new house when we finally would have a garden. And I think, okay, I take the spade and started digging, planting everything. And that was last year. And yeah, it's such a joy. I couldn't believe it, that it gives so much joy. And also certainty that you can always provide for you, but you have to take action in smartness, in not letting that be taken off of you. You know, Imam, even when we lived in an apartment complex in the beginning in Las Vegas, where we started, we had a balcony, and in the boxes, you know, he planted the vegetables. And all of a sudden the box was here, and I was my coffee on my chair. I said, Mom, I cannot even sit on the balcony anymore for my coffee. And she said, okay, yeah. But it's, yeah, anywhere you can grow. Yeah.
And all the, well, along with what they do with the media and the entertainment influencing us, and in the schools we touched on, but also our health, like the products, how toxic they are.
Yeah.
Companies,
yeah.
The very small, like large conglomerates just own so much, and they're not putting the best stuff in these products that we're getting.
No, and that is part of the being hijacked. We have to take our food and the products that we put on ourselves, and we smell and we breathe in. We have to take it back. And I am an organic girl already from when I was younger in Holland, and I was happy to find a product years later here that I used in Holland always. I thought, oh my gosh, the soap, and finally, you know, no smell, just natural, and organic food. I always buy organic food. If I cannot afford it, then I don't buy it. I just don't buy it. And yeah, the last 2 years, I learned also a lot more about our diet. And when I just came in America, and I still bike. I don't have a car. So, you know, as the Dutch woman, you have, your bike is like an extension of your body. You cannot live without bike. So here we started out in Las Vegas, and then, oh my gosh, where am I going to bike? I still got a bike. I put my boys on the bike.
That's, yeah, some extreme weather to bike in.
Yeah, very extreme. And then I had all covered with white, you know, when it was too hot. And I could not do it every day. It was too much. And I had a car then also. But my body puffed up. I got so, because if you would see videos of me when I was in Toastmasters in Las Vegas, you see this puffy lady, and in my jacket like this, you know. And
was that from what you were eating?
Yeah, did
you eat like the same kind of diet? It's just,
yeah, but differently made. Like,
so in Holland, is it more organic?
I have to say at that time, and it's more than 20 years ago, because you know, America was a big front runner, and because they wanted to push everything, all the packaged foods so fast. So I don't know how it is now in Holland, but it tastes differently there. Everything has flavor there, and here it's only salt and sugary. It's salt and sugar. And first I couldn't even eat the bread. I thought, oh, that's so sweet. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? But then you get used to it, and then I puffed up, and I thought, okay, I have to do something. So I did some shakes and so on. So that was great. And I got more and more smart, and I gobbled up all the new things that came out. I think Gundry's diet was the latest one that I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Like, I was with Imam, like, I always say I'm 98% vegetarian. You never know what's in a cookie. So, and I don't want to always say, I don't need a cookie. when I'm somewhere, you never know. And then Imam, he had been a vegan for 18 years, I think. And then he got very sick, and the doctor had said, you have to eat meat. So he started eating meat again. So he wanted now and then meat or fish. And then he says, oh, I can't finish. Can you please finish? And I hate my Dutch upbringing. I cannot throw out food. So I said, okay. But he actually was worried that I would not eat meat, So I thought, okay, I eat it for him. I eat it for you. And then he would say, let me eat it for you. Yeah, we had a good time. We had good years together. I knew him 21 years, so it was really awesome. Yeah.
Well, he's on his next mission.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he'll be back to help.
Yeah. And I when he said that, I said, well, if I'm going to tell people, they think, Celia, he's not going to come back. He's dead. And so I said, Imam, are you okay if I record this? And he said, yes. So I have the recording. And he really said, so I asked him there on the recording, I said, you mean you come back to Earth? And he says, no, it's from the other side. So he will learn the task to help us going in and out. So I think in and out the realms. So we will still be able to use our body if we want to, if we wish to, but we also have access to being in our soul self. Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting, very exciting. And 1 year has passed already, so it's only 2 more years.
Yeah, both my parents had passed within 3 weeks from each other. And I remember my mom first saying that, well, I finally get to know the secret, what it's all about. And then my dad, then his favorite movie was It's a Wonderful Life. And so he told me and my brother, like, I would like to think that it's like getting your wings. So I was like trying to remember exactly what my brother knew what he was saying. And my brother said, so it's like you get to stay a little longer to earn your wings. And my dad said yes. So It's like he wanted to, be able to help his loved ones. And
wow.
And
so they both knew also that
they were divorced. Actually, my dad had remarried, and he was very close to my stepmom. But it is strange. They had been divorced for I think about at least 25 years since I was going into high school. I was like 13. But it's strange that it was still like they had this connection. And my mom was like 1 month older than my dad, and then they passed like within 3 weeks of each other. So I don't know what there's something there though. It's just
you wonder whether they have they were of the same strain, of the same frequency level that had to go. Or they were so connected, maybe more like brother and sister than lovers, maybe. And but that's tough for you to experience them one after the other. So the beauty of it that they went together actually. Even though they divorced, they never divorced, maybe.
Well,
oh my goodness.
I think he's got me at the end there, but
yes.
So much. It's so wonderful speaking with you and sharing your knowledge, and I'm so grateful to have met you. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Liesl. For me it was also a joy to to connect with someone in another state, in another state, but in the same state. State of yeah.
State of, yeah, empathy and
yeah, empathy is there. Yeah. And yeah, I covered a lot, and you moved me from one to the other thing. It's living a rich life is beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Ceacillea, and we'll be sure to visit your Etsy site and
oh yeah.
and you have another website for your
my empathic.world is worked on at this moment, and is still will still come out soon, hopefully. And I have other websites like Positive Parenting, a Free Child, that I've used a long time. And at that time, people said, I don't know why my screen gets dark. Oh, it may run out of battery. Like positive, when I said I wanted that to be Positive Parenting, a Free Child, someone said, you cannot say free child. That doesn't mean anything. That just as if it is for free. But I meant free. And I'm so happy that I stuck to it, because I really meant free. And that is where we are heading to, and where I aim for, that we as humans feel free. Now, that's my next words. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.